Hey, Generations, we are so excited to announce that on July 5th, we are starting our in-person services again here on campus. And we hope that you're excited as well. We can't wait to gather together, drink coffee, worship, and take communion. We hope that you will start announcing that to your friends and family. And here in the next couple weeks, expect to hear some more details from us about what that reopening looks like. But if you find yourself in the place where you're like, I just don't know if I'm ready to come back yet, we want you to know that we will continue to have online service. We're so thankful, honestly, for this season that God allowed us to continue to get into online church. And we believe that it's going to be something that will continue to serve our body and people all around the United States and world for the coming time. Well, I'm pumped because we are in week 2 of our Defining Moments series, and I get the opportunity to give you this message. Now, what's neat about this series is that we're simply looking at conversations that Jesus had with people in the Gospels. And in those conversations, their lives were absolutely changed. You know, I don't know if you've ever been asked this question before, but it's this simple one of saying, have you ever thought about somebody currently living or in the past that you would want to have a conversation with? It could be anyone. For me, as I think about it, I think it'd be awesome to talk with Jimmy Fallon, right? Like he's just like this guy who seems like the most likable person in the world. But here's what I want to do. I want to interact a little bit with you guys. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, or on our online chat, I want you to put that in the comments right now and just tell us, who would your person be, past, present, that you would want to talk with? And it can't be Jesus, all right? Because that's everybody's answer. Come on. But while you put that in there, imagine this. Imagine if you were getting to have a conversation with Jesus, right? You invite him over to your house. I know if he was coming to my house, I would feel this pressure like, I've got to clean up for Jesus. But he wouldn't care, right? And he would know, like when he walks in, he'd be like, Ben, I know you put the dirty clothes under your bed, right? And there would be like this awkwardness of like, do I wash his feet or not? Because I know that the disciples, they screwed that up once and then he had to wash their feet. But we don't really do that nowadays. But here's what would happen, right? You would sit down with Jesus and he wouldn't have his phone out, right? And he wouldn't be thinking about something else. He would be very present and he would be interested in you. You know, my question is, have you ever had a defining moment with Jesus? Have you ever had that conversation with him where you're like, Jesus, you are Lord. I believe in you. Or have you ever gone to him in a time of need and he's just brought this peace that you were looking for? Today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at a conversation with Jesus and another man in Luke chapter 19. If you have your Bible, I want to encourage you to turn to that. But as you turn to that, I want to set up the scene for us so you get kind of this picture of what's happening in the text. See, Jesus at this point in his ministry, he's about 3.5 years into it. And he is on his way down to Jerusalem for his final time. He's been up in Galilee, gone down through Samaria, jumped over to the east of the Jordan for a little while, and now he's heading into Jericho, the last city that he'll stop in before he gets to Jerusalem, right? And in Jerusalem, he'll be captured, falsely accused, hung on a cross, and killed for you and I. He'll go into a tomb and 3 days later be resurrected. But before that is our text, Luke chapter 19. And in this moment, as Jesus is coming into Jericho, here's what I want you to know is he has got a following of people, right? He's got people that are fans. He's got people that are followers. He's got people that are just angry at him and want to see him just gone. And there's a crowd following him and there's a crowd waiting for him. Nobody's social distancing, all right? It's just not happening in this moment. And the crowd, they're there for so many different reasons, right? Some of them believe that he really is the Messiah that they've been waiting on. Some of the crowd thinks that he will lead the Jewish people out of the oppression that they've been in under the Romans. Some of them are just like, could he heal me? Could he help me in some type of way? Because Jesus has done some amazing miracles, right? He's healed the crippled. He's healed the blind. He's brought people back from the dead. Jesus is amazing. And so get that picture in your mind as he's entering into Jericho. And we're going to look at Luke chapter 19 now. He says this in verse 1, Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man there by the name of Zacchaeus was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he couldn't see over the crowd. So he ran ahead, climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him. Since Jesus was coming that way, when Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. Now hear this part in verse 7. The people's response to this, they said, all the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." He has gone to be the guest of a sinner. Now, I want you to hear this today, and this is kind of our overarching theme for today, is don't let mutter matter. Right? These people in this moment, they get upset with Jesus and they just start muttering to one another. And we're going to begin to break this down, but before, let's kind of set up who Zacchaeus is and what's really going on here. Why are they muttering? Why are they saying that he is a sinner? So, right, Jesus comes into this scene. The whole crowd is excited about him being there. Well, most of them, except for his enemies, right? And then this man, Zacchaeus, he thinks to himself, man, if I could just get eyes on Jesus, this would be amazing. And so he does what he needs to do to be able to climb up. Now here's what Zacchaeus is doing. Zacchaeus, we know that he works for the Roman government as a tax collector, but he's not just a tax collector, he's a chief tax collector. So what that means for us is that he's in charge of some other tax collectors in his area. We also find out from this text that Zacchaeus is wealthy. Now, here's the thing with tax collectors, as you may know or may not know, that they were known for not only collecting the taxes for the Romans, but they would often take a little extra for themselves. They would essentially steal from their own people. The Roman government had set up for these Jewish tax collectors to take taxes from the other Jews, and they would often steal from their brothers and sisters in the Lord. And so this made them like outcasts in their society. So here we have Zacchaeus, this wealthy guy that is not a friend to the people in the crowd. And this is why they begin to mutter. This is why they begin to complain. But let's continue on in this text. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is the son of Abraham." And catch this in verse 10. "For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost." For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost. If you're somebody who's already put your faith in Jesus, here's what I want you to hear, is don't let mutter matter when it comes to seeking sinners. This is what Jesus says that he is all about. This is why Jesus came from heaven to earth, right? He is in this spot and he says, I have come, the Son of Man has come to seek and save the lost. And here's what all these people are muttering about, right? They're all saying, can you believe? These very people who are just cheering for Jesus, can you believe that he's going to be with a sinner? Man, this, unfortunately, is so often our response as Christians, right? We see somebody doing something to reach others in the name of the gospel. And it seems a little different, maybe out of the norm. Maybe they're singing songs that are different than you're used to. Maybe they're talking to somebody that has a bad reputation like Zacchaeus did. And what do? We're so tempted to stand back and think to ourselves, oh, look at them. I can't believe they'd hang out with those people. I can't believe they'd do those things or go to those places. Why are we muttering about these things? Why are we gossiping and talking about these things when somebody is trying to reach the lost for Jesus? This is what Jesus wants us to be all about. See, if you're a follower of Jesus, we should do anything that we can to reach people for him. See, in the Bible, many other times when we see people muttering about Jesus hanging out with sinners, you know who it normally is? It's normally the religious people. People that already should know God. And they're complaining about Jesus seeking out sinners. But we can't allow people's opinions to hamper us from the thing that God has called us to do. And he's called us all to seek sinners. You know, there's this awesome story, and really there's ministries like this all around the United States, but this specific one I know about in Kentucky. It's called the Bruce Reed Ministry. And this group of ladies, they felt this call in their heart from God to say, you know what? I feel like God's calling us to go care for the women at the strip club. And right away, right, for some of you, that began to make your skin crawl a little bit, like, what do you mean? And so these ladies, they came up with a plan that they would bake some meals, and they would show up to the strip club early, one day a week, and they would just meet with the ladies. They would just hang out with them, feed them food, and talk to them like real people. And what came out of this ministry is so amazing. I mean, girls came out of a profession that they didn't even want to talk about to finding the arms of Jesus. Strip club owners closed the doors and became followers of Jesus. And this is an amazing ministry, but how many people might stand back and say, but you can't do that, right? But what are we going to do? We're not going to let mutter matter. We are going to seek sinners. And you might say to yourself, but hey, I'm just an accountant. Yeah, you're an accountant that seeks sinners. You might just say, hey, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, you are, but you're raising kids to know Jesus. So get after it, right? This is what our calling is. And when you continue to look at this, what we see also is that Zacchaeus didn't let mutter matter when it came to seeking Jesus. Right? Zacchaeus, he had reasons for saying, man, I don't need to climb this tree. Right? Think about it. He's this wealthy man that has authority over the people in the crowd, and the people in the crowd don't even really like him, and he climbs this tree so that he can just get eyes on Jesus. And as he's up there, I'm sure he doesn't think, oh, Jesus is going to see me and call out to me. But what Zacchaeus doesn't know is that Jesus is not only going to call out to him, but that Jesus knows his name. And what I want you guys to realize is that Jesus knows your name. He formed you in your mother's womb. He knows every hair on your head. He knows everything about you. Just like Jesus, it said in the text that he came to this spot and he looked up and he's like, Zacchaeus, I need to come to your house tonight. Now imagine if you're walking through Target, right? And somebody's like, what's up, Susie? I'm coming to your house tonight, right? You'd be like, no, you aren't, creeper, right? But like in this moment, Zacchaeus is like blown away. And how do we know it? Because right after Jesus tells him, I want to go to your house, Zacchaeus changes. He has a defining moment with Jesus. It's amazing. Right away, Zacchaeus, in front of these people, he says, I'm going to give half of my wealth to the poor. And not only that, if I've cheated anybody, I'm going to pay them back 4 times the amount that I've cheated them. And hear this, he's cheated people, all right? He's a tax collector. He's wealthy for a reason. But here's what happens. When we meet Jesus, our lives change. It's amazing. Jesus is amazing. But here's what's so interesting to me about this story. See, Zacchaeus could have let the mutter matter and not seek after Jesus, just like the rich guy did in the chapter before him. See, in Luke chapter 18, what we see is a rich young ruler that comes to Jesus. And he comes to Jesus, he says, what must I do to be saved? And so Jesus gives him a couple commandments, and he's like, I've done all those. And Jesus is like, great, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go sell everything you have, give it to the poor, and come and follow me. And the scripture gives us this picture, that day he walked away because he had great wealth, and he was unwilling to give it up. See, Zacchaeus, he was willing to trade anything for Jesus. But for this man before this rich young ruler, just one chapter before in the Bible, he walks away because he's unwilling to give it up. Have you ever been there? Are you there right now? Do you have something in your mind and heart that's telling you, you know what? I just can't do it. It's going to be too hard. It's going to be too hard if I lose that friend. Like, what's my family going to think when they start to see this difference in me as I begin to live for Jesus? But I want to promise you that the benefit of giving your life to Christ is so much better than you walking away and saying, I'm going to do it my way and how I want to. And this day, we know that Zacchaeus' life was changed because listen once again what Jesus said. Jesus said to him, today, salvation has come to this house because this man too is a son of Abraham. Today, he says, salvation has come to this house. The rich young ruler, right? He walked away. But Zacchaeus was saved that day. Today could be your day that you give your life to Christ. Just a few days ago, we had a member of our congregation. He wrote this on social media. His name's Noah. And I want to read this for you because Noah was talking about when he first gave his life to Christ, and it was so powerful. He says this, today is a very special day for me. Today, I ask Jesus to live within me. Today, I ask Jesus to forgive me of my past sins, my present sins, and my future sins. Today is the day that everything changed. The reality that for the first time, I seem to have more thoughts about others. This is the day that I saw my life change for the better. This is the day that I decided to be more than myself, the day where I joined multiple brothers and sisters in heaven, the day that angels sang and my angel at home, Grandma, cried her eyes out. Grandma's not here with me anymore, but because of what happened today, 13 years ago, I know I'll see her again. Today is my Christian birthday. And in a world so divided for equality, I decided to become one with the Lord today. People are hurting and they don't know why. People are scared and they don't know what about it. But people are people, and we forget that God is indeed who he says he is. He is the God of miracles. So he will get us through this. He is the one that leaves the 99 for the one lost sheep. He is the one who never changes, never fails. The nation is hurting, but God is waiting for his hugs, arms wide open. Every day he waits. Every day he sits on his porch and waits for his son or daughter to return so that when they do, he can throw a party. And today is the day that a party was thrown in heaven for me. Man, what a great picture of that. Today could be the day that a party is thrown in heaven for you. It simply just has you taking this step of accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior, inviting him into your life. But you might say, man, I'm scared. Don't let the mutter matter. Don't let anything keep you from Jesus. Make it all about him. Maybe you're saying to yourself, you know what, I've accepted Jesus, but I've been unwilling to get baptized. You know, that was Melanie's story, who just got baptized yesterday by her daughter. This amazing thing where she says, I've known Jesus for a long time. I was scared to get baptized in front of people. I kept putting it off, but finally I realized, man, it's about Jesus. I need to get baptized. And so yesterday, she got in the pool, her daughter baptizing her, the rest of her family watching her, one daughter even Zooming to watch this. It was so cool. It was such a neat moment. But she was tired of letting other people's opinions or her own fear keep her from taking a step for the Lord. If you find yourself today saying, I'm ready to take a step like Zacchaeus did, I'm ready to take a step like Noah or Melanie did, what I want you to know is you can go online right now to generationscc.com. Go to our online community. And in our virtual lobby space there, you'll see where you can click, talk to somebody about a first-time decision. And we have pastors waiting right now to be able to talk to you on Zoom about that. If you're like, hey, I don't do Zoom. Come on, that's strange. I don't know how to do that stuff. Know this, just above that virtual lobby spot in the online community, you can say, I want a one-on-one conversation with a pastor. You just click there, our calendars open up. You can set a time to talk to us on the phone or to get with us in person this next week. Do not stop. Do not say, oh, I'm going to walk away from this. No, give Jesus the chance and everything will change for you. Guys, I want to encourage you. Let's not let the mutter matter in our lives, right? What are we going to do? We are going to seek sinners. No matter what it takes, this is what our life is about as a follower of Jesus. And what are we also going to do? We are going to seek God. We're going to seek Jesus. That is what we are all about. Think about that right now as we enter into this last song.